Welcome to Okayama, the brainchild of Hajime Tanaka, who sold his empire of golf courses and created a facility for Japan's elite to indulge their passion for speed. Michael Schumacher won both of the Formula One Grand Prix held here at Okayama, but who will follow in his footsteps today? It's time for Grand Prix Legends live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Peter Mackay, and I am privileged to be joined in the booth by the better half of Double Scotch, Ryan Walker. Behind the scenes is our director Sean Ambrose, using camera angles perfected by Dougie Beard. Now, Okayama is a little bit of an unknown gem in Japan, and here is our Global Sim Racing track guide to tell you a little bit more about it.
Welcome to Okayama International Circuit. Located an hour's drive northeast of its titular city, it sits nestled among the green, lush hills in southern Japan. Built in 1990, it's most well known for the two visits Formula One made in 94 and 95. But since then, national and international touring car series have come to race here as well. Otherwise, the two available layouts are mostly used for club racing and amateur track days. The full course is just under 4 kilometers with 11 turns, and the short version is a measly 2 kilometers with 7 turns. It does this by cutting out the portion between Williams and Revolver. While hairpins abound throughout the lap, overtakes tend to be surprisingly hard. The first corner, Atwood Curve, and Hairpin are the main spots where drivers can attempt a traditional pass. Hairpin makes for unique battles though. The unusually steep banking for a road course, plus the switchback into Revolver, means that holding it around the outside can reward a brave driver. However, while it is a more modern facility, runoff in some places is shockingly small, and it can be easy to damage your car. This section in particular around Revolver, Piper, and Redmond gets slightly claustrophobic. The pit entry requires some practice since you must use the inside lane of Mike Knight, otherwise you'll get a penalty. While it might not see as much use in the real world, here on iRacing this track is part of the base content, and so new road racers will find themselves here frequently. With it being suitable for a wide range of styles of cars, it's sure to excite many of the competitors who tackle it.
So there you are, a little bit more about this wonderful venue here at Okayama. Of course, we used to be known as the TI Circuit Ida. Now, Ryan, I know you've always got a few little facts up your sleeve. Tell us a little bit more about this wonderful circuit here at Okayama.
Oh, it's one of my favourite tracks on the iRacing service, and it's just a shame it doesn't seem to get used that much in real life for any big series. But yeah, Formula One visited here, like you mentioned, in 1994 and 1995, and that was taken by the brilliant German himself, Michael Schumacher, who raced for the Benetton F1 team at the time. And also Super GT visits here as well, along with Formula Nippon, or Super Formula, as I believe it's called now. But yeah, it's this track's got 11 turns. Today we'll be using the full layout. It's 2.314 miles in length. And yeah, the name of the game for today's race is going to be patience and just timing your moves and not doing anything too risky. And the best passing opportunities you've got is turn 1, which is called first corner. Yeah, oddly enough, but yeah, there we go. Or turn 1, turn 4 rather. Or you've got turn 5, which is a hairpin, and you've also got turn 8. So plenty of passing opportunities, but it's timing the moves that's going to be vital in today's race.
Indeed, of course, with these Lotus 49s, a nice big long braking zone to try and make some of those overtaking manoeuvres. Let's have a look at the championship standings as they look right now. And well, it has been a vintage season for Mick Claridge. 300 points, a perfect score so far for the rounds he has taken part in. 100% win record. But Rob Olenek is still in touch. 30 points in arrears as things stand. Topi Kortenemi a little bit further adrift in third, 79 points behind, followed by Ovi Trengerade, who's kind of lost the scent as well, and Bill Tyler in fifth. How are the F2s looking, Ryan?
Yep, the F2 champion stuff is still looking really close at the moment. We've got the Actually, it's the nations. Oh, sorry about that. I'm getting mixed up there. F2 points is at the moment it's still really close, but as my iRacing just crashed, Peter. So sorry about that.
Not a problem. Well, why don't we have a look at the Nations Cup then, and we'll see how they look. At the moment, it's Great Britain leading from the United States by just 5 points. So it's really, really close there as well. And Mick Claridge flying the flag for the UK almost single-handedly. Finland are in third, with Germany fourth and Norway in fifth. Let's have a look at the race details then to see what the drivers will be facing today here at Okayama. We're coming into the business end of this championship. This is the 9th round of 12, just 3 to go after this one. 24 laps here at Okayama, so it's a long race from a standing start. And most importantly of all, the drivers have complete freedom of the setup that they can use. And with these fickle Grand Prix machines, they have a lot of different adjustment on them, and if you can get that setup right, it can give you a big advantage indeed over your competitors. So we've finally got the F2 points. So Ryan, run us through.
Yeah, finally we get to the F2 Championship, but Andre Schumacher from Germany is back in the lead of that championship, as Chris Henler was leading it last week at Silverstone. And then rounding out the top 3, we've got Francis Emmanuel Pereira with John Olsen from the United States in 4th. And 5th place, Terry Worth is rounding out the top 5. So the F2 Championship, it's all to play for. And I think the main contenders in that championship is going to be the 2 Germans, Schumacher and Hengler.
Looks like it. Well, the drivers are out on circuit at the moment, setting their qualifying times. And, well, surprise, surprise, it is Mick Claridge who is at the top of the standings right now, just over a tenth of a second ahead of Ove Trengerade. And Mick on his, now I think he is just on his 2nd flying lap right now, so we'll see if he can improve on that time as we're coming down into the bend they call hairpin corner, and then as soon as you're round the hairpin, you've got a quick left which they call revolver, and then into Piper corner. Oh, a nice big oversteer moment there for Mick, showing he's got that confidence in the car. Then up towards Redmond corner, which Ryan, you highlighted was a good place to make an overtaking manoeuvre.
Yeah, it's a really good opportunity if you get a great run onto that back straight to make a move into the Redmond corner, as Claridge is just coming into the final couple of corners now. And this is my favourite part of the track, just because you can carry so much speed on the first part, but the second part you've got to slow down straight away and not run too wide, as it looks like Claridge has got the exit nailed and he's heading up to the line now, and it looks like it could be a low 125. Actually, it's a 126, so a slower lap second time around.
Michel Dudignon does improve though, but stays in 7th position for the number 1 seed. It's been a few weeks since we've seen Michel in the field. Colin Bentley comes over the line, almost exactly the same lap time as his first, but doesn't improve. Yanni Lehman back this week in the 23 in that beautiful scarlet red machine, running the number 23 of course, in basketball terms, Ryan, that's a pretty successful number.
Yeah, pretty much, as Lehman's coming around the final couple of corners now, and it looks like he's on a decent lap by the looks of it. He just needs to get the exit nice and clean, and he's coming up across the line now, and it should be a 120, low 120, low 127. I was going to say 26, but he still improves, but it only puts him up into 18th. And another person I noticed is back again today is the current champion, Rafael Dorado, as we're looking at Ove Trengerade at the moment.
Yeah, great to see Rafael with us once again to come and race here in the Grand Prix Legends Championship. And Rafael qualifying 5th at this moment in time, but only 3/10 off the pace of Mick Claridge. So it looks like we could have a really tight battle here today at Okayama. Now, I want to bring something up, and Mick Claridge will probably not thank me for this one, Ryan, but do you recall last week in Mick's interview where he's just the height of modesty and understatement, and he said, "You'll see next week that I'm not very quick." Well, if that's him not being very quick, then stand back.
Yeah, he's a bit of a sneaky boy, that Mick Claridge, but at the moment he's doing the job in qualifying, and he said to me on Discord before we went live that this race could be maybe probably, I'm not sure how many cars he said, but it should be a close battle with a few cars involved. But looking at Gwendale and Old at the moment, currently in 21st in qualifying, and he's kind of round about the back of the grid or mid-pack anyway, but at the moment it looks to be a decent lap he's on. I think by the looks of it, I wouldn't be surprised if he improves to a 126, so it might put him further up the grid as he comes across the line now and improves by 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, good lap there from Gwendolyn Old, just to improve a little bit there. Let's see what Hideki Kavisto can do. Currently sitting 37th on the grid, so a really bit. Oh, and that is where he will stay. So it looks like we're more or less all done here for qualifying here at Okayama. Eugenie Massa is having. Where is he going? He's testing the turning circle on a Lotus 49 as well. Not entirely sure why, but you get almost as good a turning circle as a London taxi there. So let's have a look at the grid then and how they line up for this 9th round of the Grand Prix Legends series here on the Global Sim Racing channel. On pole position is Mick Claridge, who will line up alongside Ovi Trengerade. Row 2 will be Rob Olenek and Mecolino, and row 3 will be the returning Rafael Dorado and Topi Cortinemi. Row 4 will be Michel Dudignon and David Shepherd, and row 5 sees Nikolai Bokatrev and Benjamin Sotko.
Yep, starting in 11th is the F2 Championship leader Andre Schumacher with Gary Teal alongside him in 12th. Michael Arcook starts in 13th with Bill Tyler in 14th, and then we get to a couple of Finnish drivers with Ante Kerinen in 15th, with Miku Mikela in 16th, Pekka Risto in 17th, Jani Lehmann in 18th, 19th is Marko Kika. Quite a list of Finnish drivers, and rounded out the 20 is Lars Dawson.
I feel you got the difficult part of the grid there, Ryan. I'm sorry about that. Gwendolyn Old will roll off from 21st alongside Chris Hengler. Row 12 sees Yuri Wickstrom and John Olsen, followed by Chris Murakami, Philip Urquhart, Colin Bentley, Randy Hoff, Emmanuel Pereira and Dave Cohen, rounding out the top 30. And quickly, as our drivers are obviously keen to get going, we have Matthew Maudsley, Kenneth Carlson, Andrew Eng, Andres Bruno, Eugenie Massa, Sky Willis, Hideki Kavisto, Roland Wallbank, Marco Ravioli, Gary Anderson, rounding out the top 40 here at Okayama. And finally, we have Jeff Mortimer and Robert Reynolds, the only driver to not set a time. So a huge grid of Lotus 49s here as well. So it's going to be very, very busy going down into turn 1, the very imaginatively named first corner. Also the very imaginatively named last corner they're almost lined all the way back up to. So Mick Claridge poised on pole position in the yellow and black car there, running the number 2 today, and he has Ovi Trengerade right beside him on the front row of the grid. The lights are up and off we go. We are racing in Japan. Down towards turn 1 they go, and once again a great start from Mick Claridge. He gets into turn 1 cleanly. Looks like Rob Olenek around the outside might get past Ovi Trengerade here, and he does. He moves up into second position, so great start from Rob Olenek from the American, and Ovi Trengerade having to give best, but it's Mick Claridge in the lead.
Yep, and it looks like Mika Lino trying to make a move on Ovi Trengerade to head down this head around this long right-hander, heading on to the long straight, and Mika Lino already looking feisty.
Indeed, yeah. So, and we're just hearing that we've had Bill Tyler has had a spin, unfortunately, and maybe just cold tyres and cold brakes catching him out. Of course, running from a standing start, these cars, tyres will be cold, brakes will be cold, so you need to just work on getting them up to temperature before you can really push on. And we often see Mick Claridge as a bit of a master of that on the opening laps. But through they go then. Rob Olenek up to second position in the Tiger Print car, that famous Dirty Torque Racing paint scheme. As well, through they go around the final section, around Hobbs Corner, up to Mike Knight Corner, and then last corner. You're really winding up the speed here, up the hill, and then round the really tricky technical right-hander at the final corner, and round to complete the lap. As easy as that. The drivers are settling in here, Ryan. There's not too many overtaking manoeuvres being tried yet. Everyone just going in a bit of single foul for now.
Yeah, they're just pretty much you don't want to go for it straight away. I think Claridge, Olenek and Trengrade might want to work together and maybe try and pull away from the rest of the part behind. They're slowly pulling away from Mika Lino, but Lino actually pulling away a little bit from Rafael Dorado, which is quite surprising. But I think, like I say, everyone's just being patient and just waiting for the race to settle down and just see how it pans out.
Indeed, yeah. Of course, Rob Olenek right there in the fight, but I think that for Olenek and Trengrade, they've really got to try and put a move on Mick Claridge early if they absolutely can. Very much easier said than done, but you always see if Mick Claridge gets into his rhythm out the front, he's just so hard to catch. He really can build a rhythm, and he's just like a metronome after that. And this is a car which is not easy to drive at all, especially consistently. It's got a lot of power, 400 horsepower on pretty basic tyres and very basic brakes. So it's a bit of an animal to tame, Ryan.
It is, and especially around this track. I done some laps during the week offline, and this car around this track, if you get it wrong and just overdrive it ever so slightly, it can bite you. And yeah, I found out a few times by having a couple of spins as Mick Claridge puts in the fastest lap. Actually, take that back, Ovi Trengrade puts in the fastest lap.
Yeah, so the front drivers running on a pretty steady pace, pretty consistent pace across the front three right now. So we'll see who's got the pace when it matters at the end of the race. Often you see the drivers playing it very clever, not taking too many risks early and then just showing their full hand at the end of the race. So down the straight we go, and not too much of a draft effect there from Olenek.
Yeah, it looks like Michel Dudillon is closing down on 7th place, David Chapman in front of him, so I'm quite surprised that Michel's this far, no, not far back, but further back than usual. It's normally we're used to seeing him up at the front, but he's not been around for a week or two, but so yeah, maybe just missing a bit of pace.
Yeah, of course, if you're just that little bit race rusty, especially at this level, it can really show. We see that with Rafael Dorado, who was one of the real, well, he was of course the champion last season, but was running regularly and running up the front too. So Michel Dudillon, this maybe just needs to chip a little bit of the rust off. Of course, running the number 1 plate is the top ranked seed in this race. He's got a good run here. Here he goes. Michel Dudillon, no, can't quite get it done on Shepherd, but Shepherd gives him a gimme there, just a little bit of a lock-up. We saw the puff of smoke there, and through he goes. A little bit of a free kick for Michel Dudillon.
And Dudillon up into 7th place now, and the next car up ahead of him is Finland's Topi Kortaniemi, heading up to this long right-hander, and I wouldn't be surprised if Michel possibly closes that gap down. But at the moment, he's just, like you say, he's just got a bit of race rustiness at the moment, but it's always seems to be the case in the series as well. If you miss a race or two, it can possibly cost you when it comes to race pace.
It certainly can, and well, there you go. There's an example of it. Big lock-up there for Michel Dudillon coming into the hairpin, and that you don't want to do that too many times because you are tempting fate slightly. And there's a fair amount of the piranha pool circling behind Michel for him if he makes any mistake at all. Shepherd, Bogatrev, Shotko, and Andrei Schumacher as well, who's had real flashes of brilliance so far in this championship, Ryan.
There's a ride on board with Andrei Schumacher as well, currently in 11th at the moment. He started 11th on the grid as well, so he's still where he is. Yeah, it looks like we've got something happening for the lead. There's like Olenek's closer than before, and waiting in the wings is the Norwegian Ovi Trengrade.
Yep, this is where Olenek will really need to play smart. Any move he tries on Mick Claridge, he's got to make sure that he can get it to stick, otherwise he will fall into the clutches of Ovi Trengrade straight away. So round they come around Atwood Curve, named after Richard Atwood, the driver who claimed the first ever victory at the Le Mans 24 Hours for the Porsche factory 51 years ago. Did Richard in the early 917. Must have been a very, very tricky car to drive that. Oh, COVID test! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, dearie me. Well, you wonder why I'm shouting COVID test. That's been a little bit of a... You can see the little skinny exhaust pipes that come out the back of this Lotus 49, and then they're open-nosed. And that was a perfect example of the COVID test contact there, Ryan.
Yeah, as we're looking at the replay now, and I think Rob Olnick, I think he tried to get on the power as early as possible, and maybe just got caught out by Clarence, but still being a little bit slower in the mid-corner. And unfortunately, it's ended up in disaster for both of them in contact. But as I say, the person that benefited from that in the popcorn position was Mr. Trengrade. Actually, I take that back. It looks like, is it Mika Lino that's in the lead now? It is.
Oh, yes, it is. Miko Lino. He was the guy who didn't have his exit compromised, so he was able to sweep by as Trengrade tried to avoid the wreckage. And Miko Lino in the beautiful classic Ferrari Scarlet Red. You can see the prancing horse on the side of the car there. Now, yes, I know it's a Lotus, but it's a classic Grand Prix car, and it looks fantastic. Before you jump down my throat on the YouTube comments, but well, that is, I have to say, Ryan, for those who are new to the series here in the Grand Prix Legends Championship, that is something that we do not see very often. Contact between drivers. There's such respect between the drivers that it's very, very rare for that to happen, but inevitably it will do, and today is obviously one of those days.
Yeah, it's just that in a series like this, and with the pack being so close at times, unfortunately sometimes a contact is always inevitable, and unfortunately Mick Claridge and Rob Olnick had a coming together, but at the moment Mika Lino is in the lead, but wait, look who's in the background again. It's Ovi Trengrade, but he's got company with him. He's got Rafael Dorado and Topi Cortinemi.
Yep, Rafael up into the podium positions now after Olnick and Claridge just dropping back a little bit. Now I'm just looking to see where Mick Claridge is in 6th, Olnick in 7th, so they're still in touching distance, and of course if they've not got damage, Ryan, they're still both in this race, particularly Mick Claridge. I've also got to think that he's maybe he'll be driving pretty determined now, I would imagine, after that little mishap.
Yeah, absolutely. I think don't be surprised if Mick Claridge comes back through the field and maybe comes back onto the podium. Can he try and take the race win? It'll be a tall order, but finish on the podium is more than possible, because thinking about it, he's actually not lost that much time, even though he had that contact of Olnick.
Well, there's one thing I've learned in my short tenure here commentating on the Grand Prix Legends series: never doubt Mick Claridge. that's something that I would never do. And we can see Miko Lino not able to break away, and Ovi Trengrade and Rafael Dorado, I think, smelling a little bit of blood in the water here, and just starting to reel in Miko in the number 8 car. I have to say, this iRacing done a wonderful job of scanning the circuit here. It's a beautiful circuit, very typically rural Japanese. You can see the countryside that it's cut out of, and the circuit was built in 1990, but can you imagine, Ryan, $100 million, not yen, $100 million to cut out to cut through the countryside to build the circuit.
Yeah, that's just unbelievable. I was reading about the history of the track before we went live, and it's just unbelievable what they've done with this track, and it's just a shame it doesn't seem to get used that much in real life. I mean, it still gets used for a Super GT in real life, which is a good thing because it's one of my favourite series. But looking at the lead up at the front, Mika Lino is under pressure from the Norwegian Mr. Trengrade.
Yes, indeed, and of course you are looking back at Ovi Trengrade from our favourite Dougie Beard camera angle, Cosworth DFV cam. Now, if you think that looks like an organ in a church, you're right, because it's playing sweet music, holy music, out of that wonderful machine engineered here in the United Kingdom by Mike Costin and Keith Duckworth of Cosworth, and Ford put down a £100,000 deposit to commission that engine, and I think it's fair to say, Ryan, that they got their money's worth.
Yeah, absolutely they did, especially when you look at angles like this and the publicity they're getting. But as they're heading down to this hairpin now, in this twisty section, one of my favourite sections, even though it's twisty and it's not really anywhere to pass, but it's just so technical, and you've got to get it right. And Miku is under pressure now from Ovi, but hey, look who's joined the party. It's the champion, Rafael Dorado, and I think he might just be playing the waiting game.
Yeah, he might well be, and I think now he'll be. It'll all start to be coming flowing back. It's like riding a bike, as they say. Rafael Dorado going, okay, I remember this. This is what we're talking about. I remember running with these guys up the front. So Rafael up to third position, and he's right there in the, like you say, in the game, and just studying everything. Maybe just getting a couple of laps of research under his belt, just making a few mental notes of where he might be a little bit weaker, where he might be a little bit stronger than those around him, and plotting a possible attack as well. So we are 9 laps into this race, so just gone over 1/3 distance as they tear down the back straight towards the hairpin. One series which they do have here at the moment, Ryan, is the Japanese All Japan Superbike Championship, where of course a lot of the major manufacturers of motorcycles, Yamaha, Honda, Kawasaki, they all have factory efforts in that championship, and I can imagine riding a factory superbike around here would be rather terrifying.
Yep, absolutely. As Mick Claridge is making the move on Michel Dinayon, as Michel's not giving up that easy, but yep, Mick Claridge has gained the position from Michel Dinayon up into 5th place now.
Yep, so Mick Claridge on the move. Rob Olenek still mired back in 7th, so he's still got to get past Michel, but he's quite a bit further back now from these guys, just nearly a couple of seconds. So Rob Olenek, we know Robbie, always great to come in and have a chat with us after the race here on GSRC in the post-race show, and it's always so modest and so kind. I would imagine that poor old Rob, if I know Rob, Ryan, I think he'll probably be feeling a little bit sheepish right now, probably feeling a little bit guilty, I would imagine, bless him.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things. It's just it's an easy mistake to make, just because sometimes someone might be slower than expected, and it just catches you out in the middle of the corner, which unfortunately it did, and ended up in contact. But both of them are still going, and Ovi Trengrade trying to make a move for the lead. He pulls out from behind, and he gets sideways under braking.
Oof, yeah, dearie me, and you start switch back there, it's so dangerous, it's easy to get into contact, but Michelino just holding on just from Ovi Trengrade, and of course that's given Rafael Dorado the hurry up, and he's going to go for the Ryan Walker move. Oh, there he goes, yes. Oh, he hasn't. I thought he had that move sealed up, Ryan. Thought he pulled off your move there, but not quite. But Rafael Dorado is showing that he will not be content sitting in 3rd position. Good man.
Yeah. Yep, there's Michel Dinayon, and it looks like you've got another battle as well. Claridge is pulling away from this battle, but it's Dinayon and Cortinemi are going at it now.
Yeah, so Tipo Cortinemi, you can see, has the inside line there. Dinayon on the outside, round the outside. Dinayon goes on a sort of karting line kind of thing, hooks it around there, and he's going to get the switch back here. But tell you what, Cortinemi's toughing it out. They're side by side. They're going to head down to Atwood Curve. Who's going to take it into there? And Topi Cortinemi's got it sealed up for now. Will Michel Dinayon counter attack? No, he can't. So Cortinemi is through, Ryan.
Yep, and it looks like he's pulling away from Dinayon already. And Dinayon, I think he just watching the body language, he seems a bit hesitant to try and battle a little bit more, as it looks like the lead is starting to spice up again.
It spice up indeed, yes, absolutely, it certainly is. We have Michelino, Ovi Trengrade, and Rafael Dorado is quicker than you can say it. And Mick Claridge, he's on the move. He's got 2 seconds to make up, 13 laps to do it, so plenty time. Mick Claridge will be in that leading group before you know it. Make no mistake, but look at this pass here. Whoa, dearie me, look at this great, fantastic battle here. David Shepherd there in the 18 car, and Soku in the 11 machine, having a brilliant little dust up here. Yeah,
we've not got battles just at the front, but we've got battles in the midfield and the lower positions in the top 10. Shepherd and Zoku going at it, and it looks like Zoku's trying to make a move, but he's not close enough into turn 1.
Not quite, no, not quite. Started from 10th, so he's making progress so far. Is Benjamin Soko from down under, an Antipodean driver joining us here in the Grand Prix Legends series. down to outward curve they go. You can see the classic Smith styles of this Lotus 49. You see the rev needle just bouncing back and forward as he drops down the gears. And whoa, we've got Tokyo drifting going on here in Japan. My goodness me, Michelino and Ovi Trengrade. I was almost drifting in tandem there. Rafa Del Briado will be taking his hands off the wheel and giving them a clap for that one. Goodness me. Oh, no, he won't be flat though. Oh, dear, dear, dear. That is Trengrade who goes off, and Claridge is saying, haha, right back in the game.
There's a ride on board with Mick Claridge as well, and he's, I said it before, Peter, I wouldn't rule him out of coming back and finish on the podium, but at the moment we're only on lap 12, and yeah, maybe don't rule him out of even taking the win possibly if these guys have issues.
Definitely not. He's right there in the battle for it now, so they almost as if the field is kind of been reset a little bit for Mick Claridge back into the leading battle with Dorado and with Michelino. But I have to say I'm really impressed with Michelino here, Ryan, because this obviously we see Dorado, we see Trengrade, we see Claridge up the front on a regular basis, most weeks, if not all weeks, really. But Michelino is a little bit more of a part-time feature at the very front of the field. So I tell you what, he's leading this race with confidence. He's not pulling away from these guys. He's not making the mistakes either. So really good to see. Yeah,
absolutely. Michelino he's basically a part-time driver, like you mentioned in the series. So yeah, he doesn't have to move. Oh, Mick's off. Looks like Mick was spinning for a second there.
Let's get out. This probably shows this replay here that Mick Claridge is trying. He wants to get this lead back, and it was actually Trengrade having a kind of massive moment in front, and that sort of had a knock-on effect for Claridge. He had to get out of it big time. Checked him up, and you can see, yeah, there you go. Tell you what, Claridge did very, very well not to run into the back of Ovi Trengrade there. Brilliant reaction from him.
Oh, absolutely. He managed to save that, and well held it was as well. But yeah, he's right back on the tail of the Norwegian Ovi Trengrade for third place, and it's gave a bit of a buffer to Lino and Dorado in front of them. So
oh dear, this is getting very busy here coming down into turn 1 with Shepherd and Soko, and Soko gets through into 8th position, so maybe we'll see if Soko's got the pace to pull away. He will certainly hope so, but no, he's on the grass. Oh goodness me, he's gone right onto the grass, and look at that, the cars stream by. Schumacher's in there, Bogatrev, Cook as well, got to watch out for him, and look at Cook, he's having a huge lunge up the inside there, and Soko's thinking, oh my goodness me, that was a costly mistake.
Oh, that was I had to take a breath just watching that. I tried to think that the drivers in this battle were having to do take deep breaths every time there's a move being done. But fantastic battle between these guys, and yeah, involved in the battle was the F2 Championship leader Andre Schumacher, and yeah, he's probably having kittens.
Well, the thing is, this would be a crazy battle to be in a a TCR car or a GT3, but in these cars where you've got two massive adversaries to worry about. You've got your fellow competitor, your fellow driver, and you've got the car itself. The car itself is trying to rip your head off at any possible opportunity. Do not make any mistake here, dear viewer, that this car is a Grand Prix pedigree machine, and it is a caged animal. And if you do not have control of it, it will bite you. And look at that big lunge there from Olenek into turn 1. Oh dear, be careful. Jeepers creepers, this is getting, all of a sudden, it's like someone's thrown a grenade into these battles, and Dugignon goes wide now. What's going on, Ryan?
I think these guys have just lost their marbles, but that's what I think.
So, back to the lead. Michelino is under huge pressure, and Rafael Dorado, we've not, of course, defending last year's champion, I should say, not defending his title this year. And well, he could be getting back into the winner's circle after a very much apart program this season. Brilliant stuff from Rafael. Now, just having a look at the track temperature, it's actually not too bad. 32 degrees centigrade on the track. Sometimes at a lot of the Japanese circuits, when the temperature gets up and the humidity gets up, the surface can get super greasy and slippy. So I wonder if maybe that was something to do. 90 degrees Fahrenheit in stateside money, if you prefer that. So the track conditions shouldn't be too much of a concern, Ryan. It's just the heat of the battle, should we say?
Yeah, I think the drivers won't really have to worry about anything like tyre pressures or cambers suiting the track conditions. I think they should be fine with that, but it's just at the moment we've still got a great battle for the lead going on, and also for the final step on the podium. And Mick Claridge, he's close enough to trend grade, but he just can't get a move done. But I have to say, credit to Lino as well. He's managing to cope with the pressure, and he's not cracked.
Oh my word, so this is the battle for P9 and it is just erupting here as we see Nikolai Bogatrev, Andrei Schumacher in there as well, Benjamin Sokko. They're all battling over the last scraps of the top 10 here, and it is getting super busy. I'm sure these guys are having an absolute whale of a time. Bogatrev he's the man at the lead of this pack, and actually look at that, Ryan. David Shepherd, he's scampered away. He's like, see you later, I'm not getting involved in that.
Yeah, he's pretty much just they left these guys behind and he's pulling away, and these guys scrapping amongst themselves is allowing him to pull away and build up a bit of a gap. But yeah, sorry to divert away from this battle as well, but the lead battle for the lead is getting a lot more feistier and feistier, and it's a 4-car battle now.
Oh, here we go. Here we are. Welcome to Grand Prix Legends on the Global Sim Racing channel, folks. 8 laps to go here at Okayama. We have Nicolino, Rafael Dorado, Obi Trengrade and Mick Claridge. Now don't forget, Mick Claridge was our pole sitter and led the opening laps, but a little bit of contact from Rob Olenek spun Claridge around at the hairpin, and he's done an amazing job to recover so quickly and cut back through the field. So Mick Claridge is the man with the ultimate pace underneath that car. He's at the back of this pack right now, but he's not going to wait. Into Atwood Curve he goes in that yellow and black number 2 car. Ovi Trengrade sees him coming, gives him the space, opens it up a little bit. Trengrade will get on the power maybe that little bit earlier. Claridge has to reset and have another go. Now, is Dorado going to have a look? Here he goes. Dorado in the 4 car up the inside at the hairpin. Nicolino gives him the space, but he knows there's the switch back. There it is. So Lino takes it back, and Lino now goes, okay, you've had your space, not anymore, and he reclaims the lead. Brilliant stuff from Lino.
Yeah, don't be surprised if Dorado makes a move up the inside as Lino gets sideways.
Oh,
Dorado...
he's going for the Ryan Walker.
Whoa, on contact!
It's massive.
Oh dear.
Oh my word, I've spilt my scotch. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh no. Well, we will get a replay of that for you folks, but all of a sudden, Mick Claridge, well, carnage taketh and carnage giveth from Mick Claridge today. He's into the lead. Ovi Trengrade in second, and Rob Olenek, the wily fox, where's he come from? He's now up to third. He's thinking, maybe I perhaps don't deserve this, but I'll take it anyway. Here we go. So we still have a big group battle for the lead, but a number of the main protagonists there have been taken out. We will try and get a replay if we can for you folks. But Dorado dropped back to 7th, Lino in 6th. So a real pity for those guys. So here's the replay coming now. So Ryan, how do you call this one?
Yeah, I was just about to look at the replay now, and I think, honestly, I had a feeling that something like that was going to happen, just the way Dorado's getting over eager to try and get by, and yep, unfortunately it happened, but it just happens. It's one of those things.
Yeah, so we're just going to see where it's going to come round now. You can see the puff of smoke there in the background where they've all tumbled into the gravel, and Lino and Dorado, I mean, Dorado was, he was going, well, I feel bad for calling it the Ryan Walker now, because it's, that'll now be known for Banzai dive up the inside, Ryan.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's, yeah, that bottle of scotch is spilled, that's mine, so yeah, you owe me a new one.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, so yes, actually, Dorado actually hits the back of Lino on the brakes, and then it's actually Trengrade. Was that Trengrade, or was it Olenek who got into the back of Dorado? I think it might well have been Trengrade. Goodness me, what a race here in the Grand Prix Legends Championship. If you're watching and thinking, surely this can't be every week, I can assure you it is. Join us every week here on the Global Sim Racing channel. And oh, bit of problem there for Rob Olenek. He drops back a little bit. He's still in third, but loses a little bit of ground. Claridge is checking out. He's thinking, I'm not risking that anymore. I'm not getting involved in this punch-up that we seem to be having. But yeah, this is us every Saturday on the Global Sim Racing channel, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Join myself and Ryan Walker, double scotch for Grand Prix Legends. We love our classic racing here on the Global Sim Racing channel at 12 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. We have Camel GT with classic IMSA cars. I just absolutely love those guys. And then on Sundays, 4:30 p.m. GMT, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we have the Lotus 79 Classic Grand Prix series as well. So do check those out, and if you want to take part in the races, do so. They're official races. Enter, and you never know, if you make it in the top split, you'll be here on the Global Sim Racing channel.
Yep, I love my classic stuff as well. I love Camo, and I love watching the Lotus 79 series as well. And yeah, this has just been a crazy race, Peter. And to think about it as well, Mick Claridge, after having issues with Rob Ulrich, he was down about 7th place at one point, and he's managed to come back and retake the lead.
Yeah, he's had so much pace under that number 2 car today. I mean, this has just been a real vintage season for Mick Claridge. We know how good he is in this car. I feel we do labour the point, but we labour it for a reason, because this is the thing is, Ryan, is that with iRacing you have 170,000 users on the service. You have real world champions, you have virtual world champions, you have all kinds of skill of drivers. So to be this dominant in such a difficult car, it really should be commended at every opportunity, in my view.
Yeah, and yeah, that's why I love iRacing, because you can race against people of your skill set or same sort of level, and like you say, you've got real life drivers involved. You've got real life champions. You've got virtual champions, and that's why I think that's why iRacing appeals to me, just because you can race against real life drivers, and it's a pretty cool thing. As Mick Claridge comes around to lap a car, it looks like Bob Reynolds.
Yeah, but do you know what? Bob did the right job there. He stayed exactly on the same line. He didn't deviate. He kept his speed constant. Really good there from Bob. It's not nice when you see five hooligans appear in your rear view mirror, but he kept it calm there. Great job. So through they go then. We're riding on board with Rafael Dorado, the recovering Rafael Dorado, and it's well, him and Lino have kind of been dropped back into the same part of the field here, so they're still going to be able to continue their battle, but not for the win this time. For the back end of the top 5 here, Dorado in the slipstream, but I tell you what, not really gaining an awful lot on the straight there, but he's going to try and lunge on the brakes. Oh, this is really late. Oh, dearie me. Lino sees it coming, just gives a little bit of room just in case, and oh, just fantastic racing here. It'll be 3 laps to go when we come over the stripe, and it looks like, Ryan, Mick Claridge has got this back under control after a little bit of a heart starter earlier on.
Yeah, he's got a decent enough gap now that he can just control the pace. But looking at Ovi Trengrid and Olenek, these two guys are battling for the second and third places on the podium. But hey, look who's joined the party as well, or joined the battle rather, is the Frenchman Michel de Nyon.
Yeah, all of a sudden Michel has just been plodding away, watching everything going on around him, but up to 4th now, and a good opportunity for a podium finish for the Frenchman, our number 1 seed. And I have to say, going around this, of course, this track laser scanned by iRacing for the service here, and I love it because it's got all the correct sponsorship and branding, and I don't know what it is, Ryan, but there's just something cool about all the kind of Japanese sponsorship boardings like Advan and Yokohama and all these kinds of things as well. It's there's just something special about it.
Yeah, and also you've got other Japanese sponsors as well, or manufacturers or makers or whatever you want to call them. You've got who is it, Denso, I think you've got, who sponsor the Toyota
yeah,
WEC.
I Very good one indeed, yes. And auto backs as well. There's all kinds of different sponsorship boardings as well. So you've got a lap car there moving across to the side. Ovi Trengrade in the 5 car. Well, how many times have we seen Trengrade versus Olenek? It seems like an action replay of the previous week, every week here in the Grand Prix Legends Championship. Now, just as we said, Mick Claridge has got this one under control. All of a sudden, he doesn't quite, because that gap is coming down, right?
Yeah, Claridge had about a 1.3 or 1.4 second lead, and it's all of a sudden came back down. But maybe just a case of Claridge maybe just not slowing down, but doesn't want to overdrive or push too much, or maybe is looking ahead. He's got a lap car in front of him.
Yeah, it could well be the lap traffic, because there are certain points on the circuit where no matter how compliant the lap traffic is, you can be held up. So perhaps that's maybe what's happened there. But you can see now hold on, is that Pereira who's yes, it is Pereira moving across there as well. So we're normally used to seeing Pereira running a little bit further up the front there, Ryan.
Yeah, we're more used to seeing him round about the midfield, maybe midfield round about 15, 16 sort of place, or just close to the top 10 anyway. But yeah, maybe caught up in some incidents in the early stages of the race or during the race. But yeah, he's still going, and if he manages to finish, he'll still pick up some points.
Yeah, it hopefully will do. You always keep going to the end. You never know what scraps you might pick up. Well, this hasn't been the calm drive in the countryside that Mick Claridge has had at certain rounds so far this season in the Grand Prix Legends series, but he's exhibited here, I think, Ryan, that he's got the full package, that he can fight, he can come from the back if he needs to, he can lead out front, he can recover from incidents. He's got the full playbook, does Mick, but this is getting very, oh my word, this is not what you want when you're or you're on the final lap, in fact. My apologies on the phone. Oh, it's Trengrade! Trengrade has been taken into the wall by a back marker. Oh my word. Right, here's the replay then. We'll do this quickly here on the Global Sim Racing channel. So we just got caught behind the trees there. Let's see what happens. So Trengrade there at the back of shot, and just gets a little bit stuffed up there now. Just a pity there, and Ovi Trengrade, he's not the luck really this season. But Mick Claridge, now ignore our timing tower there, folks. Ovi Trengrade will show that when he's towing back to pit lane. So Claridge is still the leader, but look who's right on his case, right on his gearbox here. It's Rob Olenek. All of a sudden, Rob Olenek has an outside shot of winning this race after being around backwards at the hairpin. It looks like Mick Claridge is just going to hang on in what would be a very, very tense final lap. It's going to be Mick Claridge after a crazy race. Mick Claridge is your winner here, continues his 100% record. Over he goes. Now, can he stick the landing? Very important. Can he get it back on his wheels? Around? No. No one's perfect, Ryan.
Absolutely not. And rounding out the podium was Michel Dunion with Cortinemi and Lino finishing in 5th. And wow, what a race!
I am lost for words. Yes, and that's not something I don't say very often. Well, we hope you enjoyed that here in the Grand Prix Legends series. We're going to take a very short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with official results and driver interviews. See you shortly. welcome back to Okayama, Japan, where, well, we have been treated to a classic in the Grand Prix Legends series here on the Global Sim Racing channel. But after all that chaos, we end up with the same result. As they say, the cream rises to the top. Mick Claridge wins by half a second from Rob Olnick. Michel Durignon comes through the chaos to finish third. Topi Cortinemi was fourth, followed by Mikolino, Rafael Dorado, David Shepherd, Benjamin Soko, Nikolai Bogatrev, and Michael Cook rounding out the top 10.
Yep, Marco Kika finished in 11th after starting in 19th, so a good result for him, with Laust Olsen finishing in 12th, Yanni Lehman in 13th, with Marco Michela in 14th, Yuri Wickstrom in 15th, Pekka Risto in 16th, Colin Bentley 17th, with the German Chris Engler finishing in 18th, Bill Tyler in 19th, 20th was Emmanuel Pereira after starting 29th.
Finishing 21st was Matthew Maudsley, followed by Chris Murakami. Quiet day for Chris, used to seeing him further up the field. Randy Hoff finished 23rd, followed by Sky Willis, Kenneth Carlson, and Ovi Trengrade classified in 26th after that late crash. Marco Ravioli was 27th, followed by Roland Wallbank, Eugenie Massa, and Andrew Eng.
Yep, Robert Reynolds finished in 31st, with John Olsen in 32nd, Andreas Bruno in 33rd, 34th was Dave Cohen, and then there's retirements in the race were Andre Schumacher, Philip Euchart, Antti Kerinen, Gary Teal, Gwendell Old, John Mortimer, Gary Anderson, and Hideki Koivisto.
So that is your run through of the order. We have our race winner here to join us, Mick Claridge, who is with Ryan Walker.
Yeah, Mick taking the win, and it's not the dominant display like we normally expect from him. He had to work for it, and Mick, that was a bit of a rough one, you could say.
Never in doubt, mate. Never in doubt. Never doubt me, Ryan. Oh my God, that's just unbelievable! What a race! All morning I've just practiced qualifying laps, which worked, and then we've been practicing. I know I bang on about this all the time, but we've been practicing in 85 Fahrenheit, 82. The lowest was 81, I think I saw in one practice session. You get to the race on Saturday, 91 Fahrenheit. Nobody knows what to do with the tyres, and it really matters a lot. It really does. I lost the race yesterday. Well, I wasn't competitive. I'll say that. I wasn't competitive in the race last night because of my tyre pressures. And that's why I did a load of qualifying laps and just carried on running after that. But yeah, I'm babbling on because I just can't even think of what to say, mate. It was just such an insane race.
Yeah, I mean, you were watching you and Rob in the early stages, and it looked like a good battle, but it looked like in the middle of that chicane on the back straight, it looked like either you maybe just slowed up more than usual, or Rob just got in the power too early and tagged you. It
was me. Yeah, no, definitely me. I melted my tyres in the braking zone. If there's one track that you really don't want to melt your tyres, and a lot of people say they can't, you can't wear the tyres out in the 49. You can't, but you can melt them. And when you do that, when you brake too hard into a zone, one braking zone is enough. You melt them, you turn in, the car just doesn't do anything. So that's what happened there. He apologised, but it wasn't his fault at all. It was mine, 100% my fault. I was so slow. I could have changed down to first there.
But after that, both of you managed to get going again, and they recovered to the podium with you taking the win and Rob finishing in second. And with you taking another win, do you think, it's probably too early to ask, but do you think you can hold on and take the championship, or is it still too early to call?
Well, I'm thinking about the championship. Every time you ask me that, I always say, no, I don't ever worry about championships. But this season I really am, because I didn't expect it, but I hated losing last season and all the mess ups I did, and the season before, whatever it was at this place, finishing, quitting into the wall before the finishing line and all that crap going on. So yeah, I really want to win this. So when I was in front of Rob, even when I was behind Michelle there, I was thinking about the championship, and I was just saying, look, as long as I can stay in front of Rob, then I'm happy. I didn't really mind where I finished, but I still wanted to win this one badly. But I just didn't think I would, not until Raf and Miko, I think it was, in front, got into each other, and then that was one of those situations where I just didn't know what to do. I knew Uwe was there beside me. I was in second gear. It was at about 1,500 revs. It had no engine whatsoever. And when I came out the last corner, I just thought, how the hell did I end up in first? So it was just a completely bonkers race. I've never had a race like that, to be honest with you.
And before we let you go, Mick, looking ahead to Watkins Glen next week, do you think you can keep up the good run there?
Well, I'll be on pace there, that's for sure. It's one of my best tracks, and it's a really good race there. There's a lot of overtaking there, and you'll probably see qualifying, down to a couple of tenths in the top 5. It really is close racing there. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season. This was the one I wanted to win the most. This is my bogey track. I don't hate the place, but I just, this is the one where I'm useless at. So to come away with a win today is just beyond whatever I, dreamed of this weekend. So yeah, putting 14 and a half hours practice for this race.
And before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
You, Ryan, because you are the nuts, mate.
Thanks for that. I'll take that as a compliment. Well, again, Mick, congratulations on a rather hard-working win, and we'll see you at Watkins Glen next week. But up next, Peter, you've got the second place man that was involved in the mayhem in the early stages, Rob Olenek.
I do indeed. Yeah, Rob, welcome to the GSRC commentary box. That was a crazy race. Just give us an impression about what it was like from your seat. Why don't we? Well, we've got a little bit of a technical issue with. We don't. Here he is, Rob. I don't know if you caught my message there.
I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. It was a really fun race. I really wanted to beat Mick this week, and we had a good race yesterday, him, me, and Ove, and I really thought that if I drove within myself that I had the pace to beat him on race. I knew he's going to out-qualify me. There's just something he can do better in quali than me, and I knew I had a little work because it's tough to pass here. But I figured if I kept close and pressured him, you're going to make a mistake here. It's too hard to be super consistent at this track. Just tires overheat, rears especially, like really quickly. And it's really a shame I bumped him. Like I bumped someone else too. I think I bumped Uwe a little bit. It wasn't quite as much, but it definitely got him. It just felt like he was standing still on the corner. I started going and I bumped him. I'm like, he might say it's my fault. I mean, his fault, but it's not. I mean, it's the guy behind's responsibility not to hit a guy who's coming off the corner. And but I waited and I said, okay, to myself, I said, okay, Mick, this is a tough track to pass on, but let's see if we can get back up to the front. And I didn't think it was going to happen. And the only reason it happens because guys got together with each other, which was really kind of shocking when it came up on that corner. And that it was Uwe, Mick, and me again. And I was like, all right, we got some laps. Let's do this. And it was fun. Uwe drove really well. And I really wanted to get by him as quickly as possible and get up and put some pressure on Mick. And I think the pressure I was putting on Uwe was causing Mick to get away a little bit, which is kind of sucks. And but Uwe drove really good and just got really unlucky on the last lap. Nothing he could have done there. Just super unlucky. But super fun race. Super fun. Congrats to Mick for winning at the track that he dislikes the most on the schedule. I mean, unbelievable that he pulled it off.
Yeah, it's you think, what do I have to do? This is the track he hates, and he's still still super quick. It's a tough one. Rob, before we let you go and enjoy a hard-fought podium, who would you like to say hello to here on the Global Sim Racing channel?
It's the Lotus 49 community and you guys, and Team iRace for Dirty Torque. Thanks. And it was great to see Michelle back. He was sort of the rabbit I was chasing when I was learning this car, him and Mick. But Michelle at times was just unreal in the car. And even just I know he's not up to pace. He probably didn't put much practice in, but just getting to race him on the track is fun. So I just wanted to add that into. But thanks, guys, and see you next week, and hopefully things I can reverse the order with Mick at one point.
You're gonna get him, Rob. I can see it.
At
I can
some
feel
point,
it.
I'm trying.
Rob, thanks so much, and we'll see you next week at Watkins Glen. So finally, the other half of Double Scorch, Ryan Walker, is with a series stalwart, Ben Zoko.
Yeah, Benjamin Zoko finishing in 8th, and a lot of Birdie tells me, Ben, that you're one of the original members of this series.
Yeah, certainly am. Am I coming through okay?
Yep, loud and clear.
Yeah, good. Jack and I had started this broadcast. I don't know what it would have been like 4 or 5 years ago now. I've got a young baby now, so staying up until 1:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning isn't something I get to do anymore. But on this rare occasion, they're out of town, so I've stayed up. I'm heaps tired. My head hurts, but man, it was worth it because I had an awesome race. I'm really proud of the way I drove this evening, and I got to battle with some guys that I haven't battled with before because they're probably regulars of the broadcast race, but I don't get to see normally. And they were so clean and respectful. It was so good. I think it was David Shepherd and Nicolay, and Andre is a good rival of mine, but I managed to keep him behind, and a couple others as well. I don't know, I'm guessing the racing was too exciting up the front to catch my battle, but I made some good passes. I had some bad luck. I got a little bit of a tap from behind, which sent me loose. Thankfully, no damage. But then I managed to battle back up, and then I did a last lap, third last corner pass on Nicolay. It was epic. I didn't make really any mistakes, and it was just awesome fun. Shame I can't make these more often.
Yeah, we managed to catch some of the action in the midfield in that battle, and it was so much fun to watch. You guys were racing each other hard, but you were also giving each other respect at the same time. And I think it's proof that the Lotus 49 series and the community in general, it's one of those you must be proud of, that everyone helps each other out. It's kind of everyone's willing to help each other improve, and when it comes to setup as well, and just in general, it's nice and relaxed. Do you agree?
Yeah, that's the best thing about the community, is it's friendly and respectful, and that's the main thing. I was showing my nose to whoever it was in front a few times, and I noticed that they just went a little bit wide, not locking up or anything like that, but just in case I was doing a dive bomb, they were leaving room. The numerous times I was side by side with numerous other drivers, we all held our lines. We were all driving, pushing hard, but no one was driving over themselves, and no one crashed, no one hit anyone. And so that's why this community is so good. I don't know if it's just because the car is difficult to drive and you've got to give it more respect, or if it's because you're racing the same people every week in every race, that you need to, not make enemies by crashing into them. That's two of the reasons why this is the best series on iRacing. It's the league-like feel in the community, and the car itself is so fun to drive. You're on this track in particular. You're turning the corners on the throttle and the brake pedal on a knife edge every corner, every lap. It's epic fun.
Good stuff. And before we let you go, Benjamin, is there anyone that you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yep, the guys I was racing with tonight: Shepherd, Nick, I'm going to call him, Andre. Who else was in there? There was someone else. We're all battling really hard for what would have been 8th or 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, and it was super clean and fun.
Good stuff. Well, again, congratulations on 8th place, Benjamin, and we look forward to, if we don't see you next week, we look forward to seeing you on track at some point.
Yeah, it'll be a long time before I get another chance to do this race. It's easier in winter time, but no, good to just jump in occasionally when I can and have a go. Thanks, guys. Yeah, you too, mate.
Great to see you on track again, Ben, and we look forward to seeing you on track at some point in the future when time allows. But yeah, I have to say, Peter, that was a chaotic race, but a great race at the same time.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun, and that is what we've come to expect here in the Grand Prix Legends series. A huge thank you goes to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for all of our broadcasts, and they're listed here on your screen. An additional thank you goes to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out the screen here on how to get a hold of more of her excellent work. A big thank you also goes to Ryan Walker, my fellow commentator here as the other half of Double Scotch, our producer Sean Ambrose, and Dougie Beard for all of his brilliant camera angles. If you'd like to find out more about what we do here at the Global Sim Racing channel, including all of our upcoming broadcasts, you can find that out at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also check out our social media feeds on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also represent GSRC at the track by getting hold of some GSRC merchandise, and you can find the whole range at gsrc.storeenvy.com. Don't forget to head to our YouTube page and hit the big subscribe button as well, so you never miss a moment on the Global Sim Racing channel. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.